Hello, and welcome to the art and history blog of Art Sumeda. In this video, we're going to analyze the role of the Pharaoh in ancient Egyptian society and his depiction in art. Already in 1980, the Scottish anthropologist James Fraser stated that the most particular characteristic of this old civilization was that its king, the Pharaoh, was considered as no less than a god. It is quite usual, therefore, to find him represented alongside other Egyptian gods, such as is the case in the relief from the necropolis of Giza. In it, flanked by the goddesses Hathor and Bat, is Menkaura, also known as Mykerinos, the son of Khephren and brother of Cheops. Today, it would be natural to assume that these kings, given their divine nature, could do whatever pleased them. Well, nothing farther from the truth. Thanks to the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, we know something about the pharaoh's daily life, and it is certainly not what we might expect. The king's life was governed by rigid rules which applied not only to his public life, so to speak, but also to his private life. For example, there were rules concerning his diet, as well as concerning the relationship with his wife. There were times in which, it is stated, he could not even have a bath with her. This might seem rather odd to us, but we must understand that the pharaoh played a very important, almost magical role in Egyptian society, a totally different role from that of our politicians today. And this is the reason why he had to keep himself in the correct state at any moment. Consider that well above his political and military duties, the king had to preserve the cosmic order, the Ma'at. To accomplish this, he had to mediate between the divine and human realms. In one hand, he had to ensure the proper care and feeding of the gods, as represented by these ancient wooden figurines. In the other hand, he had to make sure the gods would respond to the offerings with blessings to the land so that it yielded a bumper harvest. In this limestone relief fragment of 8.6 per 5.6 centimeters and approximately 2 to 3,000 years old, we can see the typical Egyptian depiction of the pharaoh. His arms and legs are in profile view, while the body is rendered in frontal view. He is shown striding to the right, wearing a belted kilt with a ceremonial bull's tail. In his left hand, the pharaoh is holding a wasp scepter, while in his lowered right hand he is holding an ankh, the key of life. He is also wearing armlets, and despite the head missing, we can still appreciate he must have been wearing a Nemes headcloth, which we see falling from his back and breast. The tip of a pointed bird can also be distinguished. Let's now see how this depiction follows a schema repeated for centuries and even millennia. If we have a look at this other relief from the reign of King Hatshepsut, dated to around the 16th century BC, we find the pharaoh represented in very much the same way as in our piece: head in profile view, body in frontal view. Pharaoh striding to the right, holding wasp scepter and ankh, and wearing Nemes and false bird. The truth is that even in the famous Norman palette from around the 3rd millennium BC, in which the king is depicted in a very different context, here smashing the head of one of his enemies, the similarity, given the 2,000 years that separate the pieces, is astounding. The fact that Egyptian art changed so little over the years made some historians think of Egyptian artists as lacking freedom and creativity. However, on our view, this opinion shows a lack of understanding of the Egyptian mind. First, however, we might even argue that Egyptian art was not so static, although we can certainly call it traditional. And second, before making any judgment, we should first try and understand ancient Egyptian values and beliefs. Truly, from many two cultures, there is a gap not just in space or time, but also in ideas. Think for a moment of these merry children from Africa and Ghana. What are their ideas about the world? What are their dreams? And what do they expect of life? Do you think that these Japanese women thought alike when they were children? Coming back to our subject, we must be aware that ancient Egyptians experienced and thought of time in a very different way than we do. For us, time is a succession of events, bound by cause and effect relationships, that moves ever forwards and in one direction, the future. Well, for Egyptians, time was not linear, but cyclic, and each happening was a repetition of an event already happened, a first event traceable to the dawn of time. In the same way, and out of respect, Egyptian artists did not wish to alter the traditional schemas and patterns they were taught from, for the aim was to reproduce the archetypes that their predecessors had been depicting since the beginning of time. This is especially evident in the figures of the gods and, consequently, of the Pharaoh himself. And here we leave it for today. We hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in art and the human mind, have a look at our gallery website www.artsumida.com. Art Sumida. We have fantastic original artifacts from ancient Egypt and other cultures for sale. Good journey and see you soon.